Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We are here with the Patos. Hello, Pato. How are you today?
Hi, Daniel. I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. For people who don't know Pato, he's the super certified home inspector, and I'm gonna leave the comment below so people that want to reach out to him, feel free to contact for any inspection, and you should do before you buy any house. And for people that don't know me, I am Daniele Sica, your real estate agent. So welcome back again and here today for spring maintenance. So Pato, let us know what's your thought, what's your guide advice from now that you are in spring, we are at home most of the day. So we have lots of time, so we have no excuse to say, okay, that doesn't work.
All right. Well, thank you for having me first. So we're doing this virtually this time, not face to face because of the times, but it's still working very well. So what I've prepared a small presentation with very specific things that a homeowner should do. And this is in regards to any home of any age or any type. So it's general things that have to do with any kind of structure. So as you said, we have lots of time in our hands now. Most of us are home, majority of the time. So there's no excuses this year
Yeah,
that we didn't have time to do it.
yeah,
So just so that you understand, so these things are usually things we look at also during an inspection. Okay, so the majority of these things we actually tell the buyers and the clients during a home inspection. You should be doing this, doing that. So it's stuff that I'm very familiar with, and we pretty much go through it at every single inspection, and we include these maintenance things in every single inspection report. So I prepared with some specific pictures, and we're going to go through them one by one right now.
excellent.
So the first thing we're going to be discussing is the HVAC system maintenance. The term HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So we're talking about furnace, ventilators, AC, and all the things that the house requires to ventilate and to keep warm or cold. The first thing we're going to be discussing is about the furnace. Furnace is a machine. As any other machine, it needs maintenance. So we can't just leave it for 10 years, 15 years, and all of a sudden it breaks down in the middle of the night in the winter when it's minus 20, and we're screaming why we didn't do any maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
The easy stuff to do for any homeowner is these three pictures we have here. The first picture is the filter. The filter has to be replaced every 3 months, no matter what. So go take a look at your filter, replace it. This is not the state we want our filter to be in. We want our filter to be clean
Right.
in those 3 months so that it can actually catch all the dust, debris, and everything else that comes through the ducts. The second picture is the HRV system, or the heat recovery ventilator system. Not all homes are going to have this. Some older homes have it, and almost every single brand new home in the past 5 years, and it's been a code requirement in the last 2 years. So it's a big box that hangs near the furnace at the ceiling. This helps to ventilate and replace the air in a home. This is very basic maintenance. You open up the cabinet. There's 3 filters here. So there's one over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. One over here, and the core. All these things come out. You wash them in a laundry tub, let them dry, put them back in. Before you put them back in, you take a damp cloth or something like that, and you wipe the interior. That's very simple. Anyone can do that. The third thing is the humidifier pad. If there is a humidifier on your furnace, this pad has to be replaced every 2 years, but in some areas where the water is hard, it has to be replaced once a year. It's cheap. It's like $15 to buy from any hardware store, and it's very simple to replace.
Okay.
These are the things that a homeowner can do. You don't need a technician to do these things.
Yeah, things that we have a time now. We can save money as well, right? And we can do something. Yeah.
Things that you typically can't do yourself is duct cleaning. You should hire a professional to do duct cleaning. It typically is done every 3-4 years. You don't have to do that every year. If your ducts are in the state of the picture we're looking at here, that's really bad. Imagine you're breathing all that stuff. So if whatever is circulating through the ducts, you're breathing as well. So that's not a good idea. Furnace service, we recommend yearly service. Furnace, as we said, is a machine. Your car, you bring it to the garage every 10,000 kilometers. Why? Because if you don't, you're going to have a problem. The furnace is exactly the same thing. It needs service on a yearly basis. You hire a technician, or you have one of those monthly plans with one of the big companies, and they come in and they do the service. It's very simple.
Okay. We can Google.
Further, sorry?
We can Google and find these people, right, for technician.
Yeah, find somebody local. Usually it's better to have somebody local, your own area.
Okay.
Continuing with the HVAC system maintenance, again, this is something that your technician is going to do. Some high efficiency furnaces have what we call a condensate neutralizer. It's that first picture over there. That typically needs replacement every few years. And the actual condensate lines need to be cleaned, because over time there's debris that blocks them. If they get blocked, then that's when you create leaks inside your furnace. So it's a very simple maintenance thing that can create a bigger problem. Condensate pump, not all furnaces are going to have a pump. This is only installed when there's no drain nearby. A pump, again, it's a small little thing. They're not expensive. They're $60 or so to buy, actually. But you have to make sure that it's running. And you just pour a little bit of water in and you just hear it pumping out and then it stops. It's very simple. Continuing with HVAC, as we said, HVAC also we have ventilation. So dryer vent is one of those, and your bathroom and kitchen ventilators. These pictures are the extreme. We don't want these pictures in our home. Okay, a dryer vent, for example, if it's blocked, it becomes a fire hazard. Lint is flammable and it can catch fire. So it would also make your dryer not work properly. A friend of mine, he's an appliance technician, and whenever he gets a call that a dryer doesn't work properly, the first question he asks is your dryer vent clean? That's the first question he's going to ask.
Yeah.
Bathroom and kitchen ventilators, they have to be clean. We can't let them dusty. Why? Because they're electrical components. They have little motors, which that dust can actually seize the motor over time. So cleaning is done very simple with a damp cloth or with a shop vac or a central vacuum.
Yeah.
And this is not something you do once a year. You have to do this like 3, 4, 5 times a year. It's not just once a year or whenever you remember. We're moving on to the plumbing system maintenance. There's not much you are going to do about your plumbing system, but here are some basic things. Go around your house wherever you can see your valves. Just take a look at them. That's it. All you have to do is look. If you see corrosion, extreme corrosion on a valve, it's better to do preventative replacement than having to deal with a flood. Much better.
Yeah.
A backwater valve, which is the second picture on the bottom, not all houses are going to have this. We see this in new construction in very specific municipalities because they require it. And we see them in high flood areas down in Toronto, Etobicoke, North York. So it's not something that every house is going to have. You look in your basement, typically it's close to an exterior wall where your sewer line is going outside. It's a gray cover, so this has a gray cover over it. So the backwater valve is a very simple thing. It's a compartment with a flap. So that flap opens when the sewer goes out, and it closes when the sewer is not running. So that needs to be cleaned because debris in the sewer, in the switch can make it blocked. How do you clean it? Well, you put on gloves and a mask so that you can't smell. And you use maybe a toilet brush or again, some paper towel or damp cloth. If you can't do that or don't have the heart to do that, hire somebody who does.
Always, yeah. Always, always. If you don't know what to do, better to call someone that knows more than you. Yeah.
Water softeners and filter systems. Nothing much you can do about these things. This picture is an example of a 2-in-1 water softener. So there is a filter and a water softener inside. You just have to keep the salt level constant wherever you're supposed to have it. If you see too much water in your water softener, something is not working right. Water usually is at the bottom, 6-8 inches. Okay, you shouldn't be able to see water in your water softener because it's at the bottom. If you see it coming up, it means that your water softener is flooding and something is not running properly. So that's one thing. The second thing, I don't know if you can see that compartment over there where I'm moving my cursor. This type of water softeners have that compartment over there where you can put a specific cleaner. You have to buy the specific cleaner for this kind of water softener, and you just dump a bottle in. That's about it.
Straightforward.
More about plumbing system is the sump pump. It's very important. If you have a sump pump in the house, it's very important that you maintain it. If you don't have one, it doesn't matter. Not all houses are going to have one. The sump pump, it has to be clean, no debris. We usually find children toys. Sometimes we find mice in there, whatever you can imagine. So it has to be clean. The way you clean it, if there's debris, you remove them, obviously, with your hand. And then you just keep adding water so that the little bit of sand or clay that may be in there just naturally gets pumped out. Okay, so like for example, at my house, what I did, I have a hose be right next to the sump pump with a hose which is about 5 feet long. And whenever I need to clean it, I just turn the valve on, leave the hose in the pump, and I just let it run.
Run, yeah. So
20 minutes and it gets cleaned up by itself.
yeah, easy.
The discharge pipe. So this is the picture. That's the oops, sorry about that. Let's go back. That pipe over there is the discharge pipe. So in this case, this picture, it's just right outside the house. It has to be extended away from the house. You can't just have your sump pump draining right next to your foundation. It's like basic water control. So you have to have that pipe extended away 6 feet at least.
This is another big discussion that probably we will do in the next chapter for sure. Talking about
water control and how to prevent flood in your basement. Exactly. Electrical. With electrical maintenance, there's nothing much a homeowner can do. The only things you can do is test your GFCI outlets and your AFCI breakers. So we're going to discuss briefly where you find these and what they are. GFCI stands for ground fault circuit interrupter. You're going to have them in your bathrooms. You're going to have them outside, and you probably going to have them in your kitchen. If the house is less than 6 years old, you're definitely going to have them in your kitchen. So they have a little test and reset button. Simple. You press the test button, the power should go off. You press the reset button, power comes back on.
Yeah.
This mechanism inside these GFCIs over time deteriorates. So it's a normal wear and tear. So when the mechanism doesn't work, it doesn't protect you anymore. AFCI breakers are on the panel. You're going to have something that looks like this. This is a newer panel. It has a little test button on it. Newer homes, the last 2 years, have many more of these, okay, because the rules have changed over years. So again, the only thing you can do is press the test button, the breaker trips, and then you just reset your breaker. That's the only test you're going to do. We're done with the inside. We're going outside. So take a look at your roof. The majority of inspections that we do when we find shingles missing, the homeowners don't know, and they're surprised, okay, because nobody looks up. So go around your house, take a look at your roof. If you see shingles missing, it's a simple act now before you have a leak. Okay. Yeah. Clean gutters, even if you have eaves guards. So many people and many companies actually install eaves guards, and they tell you never have to clean your gutters again. That's wrong. You still have to clean your gutters, even if you do have eaves guards on top. Okay. So how do you clean your gutters? First of all, you shouldn't be afraid of heights. So you need a tall ladder. You clean leaves and debris by hand, and then you can use a hose and just put water with pressure in so that any small debris like dust and granules from the shingles go down the downspout. If you can't handle heights and ladders, hire somebody to do it. Yeah.
There is so many things that on that as well that, you know, you have to maybe have maybe an extension if it's too high, it's a hook you can hold something on the ladder, right? So you can you
Yeah.
put something, and maybe even use some gloves, in case you can touch something sharp inside the gut.
Oh yeah, you should always be protecting yourself one way or another, and always two people when there's a ladder involved, one at the base, one at the top.
Yeah, and make sure the ladder is safety. Yeah, it doesn't move. Yeah.
Yeah. Now with cleaning the eaves, usually you do it after the fall. But what is it is with after the fall? You have to do it after the fall, especially if you have mature trees, right? Because all the leaves are going to be falling. It gets colder, so many people don't go in the fall or after the fall, like November, right? So they don't do it because it's getting colder. So now
Yeah.
is the best time to do it.
Yeah. So technically, it's 2 times: spring and beginning of.
That's the proper way, exactly. Wood burning appliances, fireplaces, wood stoves. Not every home is going to have them, so this is for whoever has a wood burning appliance. The picture on the left, that's an interior of a chimney. What the stuff you see on the chimney lining, that's called creosote. Creosote is produced with the smoke and the burning. It's normal, but over time it gets attached to the lining. So if you don't clean it, that becomes a fire hazard because creosote is flammable. So the picture you see on the right with the fireman and that's a real picture with fire coming out of the chimney. That's a chimney on fire, and it happens. It's the creosote burning up. Something that many people don't know is that the fire marshal and the fire regulations in Ontario have a line in them that require homeowners to clean their chimney every year.
Right.
So when you have a house fire, the fire marshal comes and determines that it started in the chimney. If it hasn't been cleaned, the insurance company may say, no, we're not covering it.
Yeah.
Many people don't know this detail, but it's true.
Good to know.
And the best time to clean your chimney is in the spring, not December or January when you remember, oh my God, I have to put my fireplace on. We didn't clean the chimney. No one is going to come out in December and January to clean your chimney.
Yeah.
Exterior maintenance. Exterior maintenance, the majority of work, we're talking about caulking. Caulking around doors, windows, anywhere you have a dissimilar material meeting, anywhere you have vents. Caulking is not for air or insulation. Some people have this wrong idea. Caulking is not done so that you don't have air filtration or to insulate your windows. Caulking is done for water. Caulking stops water from seeping through your walls. The best time and only time you're going to be doing caulking is spring and summer, because you cannot do caulking when the temperatures are less than 10 degrees. It's not going to be done properly.
Correct.
The picture here, that's an extreme case, is really badly cracked. So in this case, it has to be removed, right? So when I actually went around my house yesterday, my house is only like 6 years old, renovated, and I saw that I have to do some re-caulking around some vents. So I have to get some caulking and start working.
Yeah.
Now I can do it myself because I know how to. Again, if you don't know how to do caulking, hire somebody.
Yeah. Or Google. You do some YouTube search. Yeah.
Yeah. What other exterior maintenance? That depends on what kind of home you have. The majority of homes nowadays are going to be brick or stone. It's going to be stucco. It's going to be aluminum siding or vinyl siding. There's no maintenance to do in these homes. Maintenance for exterior cladding, as it's called, is for older homes, like older 100-year-old masonry homes, or homes in the rural areas that have wood outside. So that's a different story altogether. So if anybody has any questions, just contact me directly and I'll be happy to answer. Foundation. Every house is going to have a crack. I haven't seen a house yet that doesn't have a crack. So we are not going to be discussing structural cracks that have structural implications, but some cracks don't need much other than just some sealing on the exterior, okay? These corner cracks, it's just concrete sealant, okay? These are called corner pops. I've seen them that the whole concrete actually just pops out, so you don't want it to reach that stage. A crack like this is actually from a very recent inspection. It's not a crack that affects the basement. It's between the garage and the house. So all you have to do here is just seal it very well outside, and maybe dig a little bit down, but because it's the garage wall. So yeah, you have to seal your cracks from the outside as much as you can see them. What happens with cracks, this happens in the winter time. If you have a water and then you have a sudden freeze, and then you have a sudden thaw and a sudden freeze, which we have them all the time, these cracks can expand and create structural problems.
And also there, it's good to also review inside the house as well. If there is any water penetration, check the wall, there is any bubbles, stuff like that. So you understand.
Yeah, most people wait until the problem happens.
Yeah.
That's the issue. But when the problem happens, it costs you much more.
Much more, yeah. And time and money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegetation, don't do's. That's what I call them. This is a comment I put in every single report. Okay. Your foundation is meant to support the house. It's not meant to be a planter. Okay, so we don't plant trees, we don't plant bushes, we don't plant vines, we don't plant anything next to the foundation of the house. Around the house, around 6 feet around the house, should be landscaped in a way that water flows away from the home. The basic thing is grass. And then you have different other material, but no trees, no bushes, no tomatoes, no cucumbers, nothing like that around the foundation of your house, okay? That's number one. Trees overhanging the roof. Trees overhanging the roof with ice storms are going to break and damage your roof. That's number two. Vines growing on the house. It's the picture on the right. It's slightly hidden by our queue there.
Tuscany style.
Sorry?
Tuscany style in Italy.
Yes. Many people say, oh my God, the vines are so pretty. Yes, they're very pretty, but they destroy anything they get attached to.
Yeah.
And when you remove them, you can't really fix the back because the things that are stuck on the brick or anything is not easily removable. That's the problem. So the other thing is insects and pests. They just climb up and go in your attic, in your house, and anywhere else.
Yeah, you have to think ahead before you do anything.
The last slide we're going to be talking about is grading, which is of extreme importance. I didn't put any real pictures here. I put a picture of how we're supposed to be doing water control. You have rain on your roof, water goes in your gutters, from your gutters and your downspouts, and it should be coming away from the house in a slope.
Yeah.
That is proper grading. Improper grading and improper water control is the #1 cause of flooding in basements, which we're going to discuss in a different video.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
grading is something that needs maintenance. I have a little bit of grading maintenance to do at my house, which I have to see if I can order some soil and get it delivered nowadays. I don't know if they're working or not, but now is the time that I can have some time to actually do it. It has to be done. Any house over 6 years old, you start having your grading is going to settle. It's normal to settle. So you have to bring it up. Okay. So that was it.
Yeah, you have to do your homework. And again, I always believe that, it's easy to see. So I have a house of $1 million, $800,000, I don't know, maybe $2 million, and I have someone comes and fix it for me. But it's good to know, so then you can prevent. Because we know already, that's one thing that my father always teach me. So it's good to, prevention will save you a lot of time and money.
Exactly.
You can quickly go there and fix it, and then you don't have to care about it. But then when you go and then, it's procrastination because you don't have time. And then it's got even harder, and then you have time and then money. And then when you rush, sometimes I see that the people, because they don't understand who to call, they call the wrong person. And they get even worse because the people don't know what to do, and then they do the wrong job. And then they have to go back and you have to call somebody else. So it's overextended over time. You know, it's like an injury. It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
to add on that, especially when it comes to the heating system, people hiring a duct cleaner, and the duct cleaner comes in and goes to clean the furnace. And I've heard too many times that the duct cleaner damaged the furnace.
Mm.
The duct cleaner should not be touching the furnace.
Oh.
The duct cleaner does duct cleaning, but they're not, and unless they're a licensed technician, that a furnace technician, they should not be touching the furnace because they may cause damage.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, it referred to you and also to many people. They do work around the house with the house, us as a real estate as well. It's always to call someone that has a certification, knowledge, experience, and knowing around the area. So it's good to go research. Maybe you can call maybe one or two people and ask first. Have a little dialogue, and then you go from that point, because otherwise it gets
and always wonder why somebody's very cheap, because you get what you pay for.
right. That's a discussion we had many times, with me, with you, with other people, going down with the price. I'm going to go with the other person that cost me less, but what you get back. So quality, it's always optimized versus quantity, right? You will see in the long run for sure, right? So for sure, anyone has any questions for Panos, I'm going to write the link below. You guys can send an email or you can call him directly. He covered up all the Ontario area. He has a
that's our team. That's me in the center. And we have James and Eli. So we each cover one area of South Ontario. Our website is over here, inspectionservicesgroup.com.
Fantastic.
And you can see all the information about us there, our services, what we do, where we cover, who we are.
Yeah, and if you don't know, when you call him, expect at least 3-4 hours time frame to do all the inspection. It's not going to be 5-10 minutes. And on plus of that, it's going to be probably a phone call before and after. You're going to get an email with the file of what happened, all your report. So something.
Yeah, we have very specific procedures in place. We are a professional company, so we're not like doing this on the weekend or stuff like that. We are all full-time insured. So the thing is that we're very professional in all our processes and procedures as well. There is before communication, during communication, after communication. Now that we have the COVID-19 situation and we can't really have anybody present at the inspection, we actually offer a Zoom call review like what we're doing now. And I do those every day with the buyers, and we go through the report page by page. And people appreciate that, and they love it because they can't really be present. And we are taking a lot of precautions as well with masks, gloves, sanitizing our equipment, everything. So we're still in business, still working, but we have to take necessary precautions, and we've innovated in this way to help buyers in the process.
We always to give the best, right, to our clients, for sure.
Exactly.
I forgot to say before we start this Zoom meeting that if you guys hear some kind of distortion in the noise, because it's the connection. Probably already that in these days everybody are at home and use internet, so
exactly.
100%. So we apologize for that.
I have a joke for my family because we're 5 in the house, so we don't fight over food, we fight over Wi-Fi.
That's good. Thank you. Looking forward for the next adventure. And so you guys take care, subscribe so you will know all the latest that's coming up. Stay safe, stay healthy. This is Daniele Siga, your real estate agent. Thank you so much. Peace and love. Ciao, everybody. Bye, Panos.
Bye-bye. Thank you. All right, that was perfect.